Okay, I just wanted to go over, window symbols real quick. And when you get around to placing your windows, you'll want to know how to draw them. There's actually several ways to draw windows. If you look up on the internet, there's all kinds of ways to draw them. And typically, what I find is that a lot of them are very similar in nature. They're very similar, as you'll see as I go over some of these windows. Now this is a standard single hung or double hung window. This can represent a single hung or a double hung window. Which that kind of window, the single hung window, is the type that you probably have in your house where you can open up the bottom of the window. And you just you unlock it and then pull these two levers on each side and lift up, and the window slides up. A double hung window is really the same thing, but the top and the bottom both do the same thing. They both move. The bottom will move up and the top will move down. And this is typically what I use to represent those windows, which I really need to change that habit because this is kind of antiquated, meaning it is really old. Alright, and that's kind of the way I learned how to do it when I was in high school. That was back in the 1980s. I'm sure most of you weren't alive back then. I don't think any of you were alive back then. But anyway, getting closer here, you see here's the outside of the house, here's the inside of the house, and you'll see how these are drawn. Now this is another drawing for a single or double hung window. And as you see here, there's kind of a little offset there. The first pane or whatever represents the glass is drawn here flush with the inside wall. And the way I did this is I offset that about 2 inches between the inside pane and the middle pane. And then of course I did another offset where I offset the middle pane just 1.5 inches. Okay, not a full 2 inches, 1.5 inches to get this kind of asymmetrical look here. And then of course this outer line here represents like a window seal that sort of sticks out. If you look on some houses, that could be some sort of a window seal trim. Sometimes it's brick, but there's like a little bottom ledge there right below the window in a lot of houses, and not all of them. Okay, but that's what that represents, and I see a lot of people using this symbol right here. Now for a sliding window, a window that slides, say from left to right, you've got almost the same thing except for the way you place your panes on the inside here. And those are basically one line drawn at flush with the outside. Or actually, I take that back. Well, no, it was flush with the outside, and then it was offset to the middle, and then offset again to be flush with the inside. And then I just went and I put another line down the middle, and I went in and I trimmed this line and this line out. Okay, so there used to be lines that extended from here and then from here. Alright, but as you see, it looks like two windows that could slide past one another. So that's a sideways or a side upright slide window. This window here is like a living room window. And as you see, it's really the same thing as a double hung, the more common double hung there, or single hung. And the only difference is they have these spacers between, and those spacers are about the size of a stud, and they are between the individual window units. Okay, so when you have those big front living room windows, a lot of times it's really just 3 or 4 windows installed side by side. With on the outside, there really is no space between them, but there is a stud, which is what this red rectangle represents, is the stud that goes up between those. So those are your most common windows. You'll probably use this most often and this most often. If you have any questions about how to draw any window symbols, just ask. I can show you some websites that you can go to and see all kinds of symbols that represent certain types of windows. But again, these are going to be the very most common. Okay? All right. See you on the next video.